Hi guys, George here with another after action report. This scenario reminds me of this music. It also reminds me of a good old movie that I saw a long time ago. Let's watch a few clips from good old Oddball.
Oh, man. Don't hit me with them negative waves so early in the morning. It's still up.
Look what happened.
No, it ain't. You see what sending out the negative waves did, Moriarty?
Hey, that ain't my fault, oddball. I've done nothing but have good thoughts about that damn bridge ever since we left.
What happens now?
Moriarty, how dare you?
It looks like we're gonna find ourselves another bridge.
And where are we going to come up with another bridge?
There you go, more negative waves. Have a little faith, baby. Have a little faith. Now go on, get down into your hole. Move on!
Oh, man. You guys are crazy. Look, when we was in a Bocaz country, we was assaulted by them tigers. You know what I mean by assaulted, huh? Well, I mean assaulted.
Why don't you knock it off with them negative waves? Why don't you dig how beautiful it is out here? Why don't you say something righteous and hopeful for a change?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in the face of adversity, remember, being an optimist always pays. And in this scenario, when you are the American player with only 2 Hellcats going up against 7 armored fighting vehicles from the Germans, 5 of them being Mark IV Model H Panzers and 2 Stug 3Gs, you need to be an optimist. But also in life, generally speaking, optimism is worth its weight in gold. Now, under the Noel trees is a Bastogne scenario, Battle of the Bulge, and basically the Germans are advancing, trying to achieve their objective, and in some cases, instead of assaulting Bastogne, they're trying to bypass it, and they meet U.S. resistance that is quite competent in being able to perhaps not totally defeat the Germans, but cast a good casualty toll upon them. So with that said, on to the quick AAR, and here's the end of turn 1A, and basically what happened was, let's do some drawing. Let's open up that drawing tool. Let's see, we want to mark everything with red, and we want to find lines. Okay, and basically what I did was as you can see, bore-sighted that hex with my 2 Hellcats, which started up hip and unbeknown to the German player. So this fellow opened up here and scored. And this fellow here managed to immobilize this tank right there. And then you have a couple of thrusts from the German player, almost like a scattered assault. This fellow had to route to that location. And basically what I have here are, of course, my bazookas trying to block any areas where the German player can exit, because the victory conditions, as they are called for, are very simple. The German wins immediately upon exiting greater than 4 AFEs off the east edge, or at the end of game 3, greater than 3 AFEs, provided they have amassed more CVPs than the Americans. So in this game, after all is said and done, it was very challenging for the German player to amass more casualty points than the American player. Okay, on to end of turn 2. Let's see if, oh, there we go. So end of the American turn 1. What we have here is an immobilized tank. These tanks are in motion, and the tank, the Hellcat that was stationed on the left American flank, took a turn. Basically, if we go to the drawing board again, and this time we'll use a different color. We'll use green, and there. Basically, he went in this direction. The Hellcat that was here tried to knock out another tank, missed, and fortunately got blasted. Yep. Turn 2A. Now, in the beginning, the German was along this line here, and he managed to move 2 tanks on his right flank and 3 onto the left. That's why I brought the Hellcat here, but left everybody in their place here and did some skulking. Let's go on to 2B. Well, with 2B, I decided that since this tank was gone in a burning wreck, my best course of action was to do this. Let's draw the little move, or the big move rather. Choose dark green, olive drab, and so instead of waiting for him to arrive here, I had gone like this and to his rear, and he drew a lot of fire. I succeeded in going there, and he's hauled down from this perspective, but he's open to there. As soon as I got there, this fellow went in motion, and this fellow turned his covered arc with a motion attempt. And I'm down to 1 tank, but my forces with the light anti-tank weapons are virtually intact. And I advanced 1 bazooka to this position here to try and preserve my my units in what will become his rear. "3A, how do we get to 3A? What happened to 2B? 2B, I'm still alive." So 3A. Finally, what happened in his turn 3 is that ultimately he prep fired 1 tank to eliminate him. He prep fired the mobile tank to try and get the crew, because after all was said and done, from what happened as a result of this unit being attacked is the crew survived. So now he couldn't afford to have a enemy unit in his rear for route purposes. It looks very daunting for the Americans at this point, because at least 3 AFEs have advanced. But we did manage to immobilize 1 and knock out another, so it's going to be 1 victory condition or another. We're going to obligate him to do 1 thing or another. All right. Let's go on to 3B. Well, what happened in 3B is quite uneventful. They managed to ultimately break the crew, nothing more than that. And there was fire being taken by the infantry units, but now we have the ominous threat of 4 AFEs on on our line. All right, moving rather along. 4A. So how do things look now? Now this is worth drawing. This is worth a drawing board. So this is what happened, and we want red, and we want it to be a very fine line. I'm feeling a bit like Mr. Jessup here. So the unit that was here advanced there. This unit that was somewhere around there went to exit, and 2 units exited off there with very little fire. There was a close combat here that knocked out the 8-1 leader with an MMG and a 747 based due to this fellow. The American forces here are intact, and so is this fellow here. Okay, so let's try and escape. No, we don't want to save any changes, and go to the next board, which is interesting. It's very interesting because ultimately the unit that ended up staying here in motion was attacked by Chuck Norris. He entered into close combat, boom, knocked him out. 2 units advanced here, 1 to his rear, 1 to his front. He did not see this as a threat, but of course Chuck Norris is always a threat, and knocked out the AFE. The units are going to advance here, a little spoiler alert. They're going to expose themselves. The infantry went first. It will be revealed that this is a bazooka unit, and 1747 will repulse a 9-1 leader and a 658. This position is pretty much gone, but we still have a half squad here, and the 658 still needs to advance because the CVP points are very close to one another. So let's zoom out in our little bird dog this time, see if we can advance to the following turn. That is, if we have another picture. Let's see, hold on a sec. So we don't have an ending picture, but this is the actual vessel file, the log at the end of Allied turn 5, where I conceded the game. So basically, as you can see here, the consequences are the unit that was positioned in hex DD2, 19 DD2, repulsed the attack with the 658 and the German 9-1 leader in the medium machine gun, and repulsed it decisively. And then he basically bypass moved to here. Another unit here rallied, made it to there, tried to pin this guy from getting off. This position was taken by the Germans. This position was taken by the Germans. They finally managed to break this line. And the CVPs are 1 point more than the Germans, than the Americans. And it's the bottom of the American turn 5. In the next phase, this fellow would probably have to expend one movement point to stop or do an overrun. And at that point, you know, if it would be an American victory, it would have been based on luck alone, decisively good luck on my part. So I decided to concede the game and give it to my opponent. He played Andrew. He played exceptionally well, and it was a fun game. Of course, I might do a little solo play to see what would have happened in the following turn later on, or I might play this game again at least 2 more times because it was really fun. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this short video. It's about 15 minutes long. Like and subscribe. I have forgotten to thank all my subscribers and all of my viewers in the last couple of videos. So I'll thank you now from the bottom of my heart. You guys are swell, you're good, you keep me motivated, and most of all, I hope this video motivates you to keep on playing ASL or whatever game you wish to play. And guys, there's nothing more valuable in life than being positive. Forget your worries, be nice to your fellow persons, and live life to its fullest extent, because we all know life isn't forever. Take care. Finally I can find the stop record button. Take care, guys.